Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Precision Rifle Media. This week I got Chris Opfer with me. Chris just got done running his first ever 2-day PRS match. It's not his first match, but it's his first 2-day PRS match, big national level event. It went really, really well. I had a really good time shooting it. It was really good to meet everybody that was there, hang out, do the whole thing, eat some delicious brisket afterwards. But I thought it would be really fun to have Chris on to kind of give us the rundown on his first time directing a match like this. And then, we can't shoot this game without the support of the sponsors. So I really wanted him to come on and be able to thank the sponsors as well, just because, they sponsored his match here specifically. But a lot of these sponsors are, uh, they're sponsoring the series, they're sponsoring events all across the country. It's not just this one specific event. So you got to support the people that support us. That's the biggest thing with this. But I'm going to let Chris introduce himself here and um, kind of give us his thoughts on that whole deal. So, Chris, it's great to have you back on. We want to introduce yourself a little bit. We just did one a couple months ago before the show, three months ago maybe. But just a little bit of who you are, what you do, and then we'll get to talking about the match.
All right. Well, like you said, my name's Chris. I'm actually the owner of Target Hanging Solutions. I make a lot of steel targets here in South Dakota and started putting on matches last year with a couple one-day matches. This year we started with a one-day match, and then just this past weekend was my first 2-day PRS match. Like you said, I think it went really smooth. That was all I could hope for the first year anyway. Didn't want any hiccups for the first year. And like you said, the sponsors came through really big for us this year, I think. And, without them, we really couldn't do this. It just wouldn't be the same. First and foremost, I guess, Travis Stevens at TS Customs. He was our title sponsor, or co-title sponsor for the match. I think I mentioned this at the award banquet, but, I just sent him a letter saying, hey, do you want to look this over? I'm going to send it out to a bunch of potential sponsors. Just want to make sure it looks good to you. Didn't ever really say anything to him about him sponsoring it. And all he responded back was, yeah, I'll be your title sponsor. And, it was a pretty big commitment there. So can't thank him enough for his support of the match. And he obviously shoots pretty well. That showed this weekend.
Yeah,
Even though he doesn't, yeah, he doesn't go to a lot of matches anymore, but to just hop into what I would call a pretty tough PRS match and get fifth place. I mean, he's a hell of a shooter too, and he makes good guns, so I guess you better be able to shoot him.
Oh yeah, and he does. Yeah, he does good. I met him a long time ago, well before I even knew he built rifles, and just a super nice guy. Just talk to you just the same as if you're. Because obviously he didn't know who I was, right? I mean, we were shooting a coyote competition. I think I talked about this last time, but, you'd have thought I was in his shop, when we were talking. It was, you can't ask for better than that. Sometimes guys get a little bit, what's the word? Like, they know more than you kind of a thing, but you don't ever get that with Travis.
Yeah, Travis has never really been like that. I mean, he's always open to helping out new guys and
very much so.
Talk to anybody at the match, and he can BS with the best of them. So
yeah,
that's a good one in my book.
Yep, I agree. You got some of the other sponsors. You want to run down the list? I'd like just to give everybody a little bit of recognition here, if you can, just to give everybody an idea. I had some issues with my rifle, and I ended up at 103rd, which wasn't good, but it's actually the worst I've ever placed at a match. And
sorry.
So thanks for that. But I ended up 103rd. I still ended up with a really nice Coltac Bino harness.
Yep. Yeah, we had a lot of sponsors come through. I mean, some of our top tier ones, definitely Vortex Optics, Manners Composite Stocks, Precision Reloading, Hornady came through with a whole bunch of items. I'm sure you saw Loophole. They put a whole bunch of stuff on the price.
Yeah, they had Mark V. They had some glasses.
Yep.
Couple bags.
Yep. We
I
had
got some patches.
nice, nice. Yeah, and some other good ones for us were Altus. They sent over a stock. Uh, Foundation Stocks. They sent over a stock. I think Josh from HS Precision. It looked like he brought a stock. So we
A
had plenty
stock
of
of 2
stocks.
barrels, I think he brought.
Yeah. Yep. He helped out big time on the prize table. Um, had a couple suppressors from I think Prairie Tactical and Silencer Central, and Mac Brothers. Bunch of the
Yeah.
local companies stepped up.
I shot with Dale.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
Yeah. Yeah, it was actually the first time I ever met him.
Yeah. Yep. Pretty down to earth guy.
Yeah, very much so.
But yeah, we had Proof Research, Trigger Tech, Gunslingers, US Optics, Hawkins. Those are some of the big ones. And then we also had Short Action Customs covered our lunch on Saturday. So that was huge for us. As
That
you know,
that squash was the best squash I think I've ever had in my life.
I'm pretty
I
sure
almost ate yours when you were standing there. I almost ate yours off the plate.
those are potatoes, hash browns.
No, it was squash.
Okay. But
Wasn't
yeah,
it?
I don't know. I thought it was hash browns. Either way, it was good.
I thought it was like some kind of cheesy squash.
I don't know. We'll
That's
call
what
it that.
that's what Theory said it was, so I went with it.
Gotcha. But yeah, Scotty D's, they're from Huron here, and they drove their food truck out there and made a box lunch for everybody, which was barbecue. Pretty typical barbecue lunch. I think it was brisket and coleslaw, hash browns or baked beans or squash or whatever. There was a few side options there. So yeah, I thought that was really good. I hope everybody enjoyed it.
I didn't hear anybody complain.
Right. Like I said, that was covered by Short Action Customs. I mean, they probably don't even know me that well, and they sent over a check and decided, to cover that lunch. So big thanks to them, obviously, for that.
Well, that can't be a cheap endeavor either. I mean, that's lunch for what 100 and probably 100, just call it 150 people.
Right.
I mean, really, right? 100 lunch for 150, even if it was $10 a plate, that's a pretty good deal in this
Right.
day, right? At $10 a plate, I'm just rough numbers. That's still a pretty good chunk of change.
Yep. Yeah. So definitely appreciate support like that. I don't like asking for that kind of support, but it is helpful as a match director, especially in the first year here. There's a lot of expenses that go into just getting going, so that helped out.
Who was the target sponsor?
I think it was Target Hanging Solutions.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
You say that they were the best targets they ever shot at. So.
Yeah, that's what I said, I think. Yeah, we had 0 target failures, so that was a plus. As a target manufacturer, that's probably my biggest fear in the match.
Yeah.
Not that I doubted that my stuff would hold up, but still your biggest fear.
Yeah. That was a big problem, and it seems to be a lot of the weird stuff's kind of, you don't see as much anymore though too, right? Like the weird little spinners and the movers and the, poppers and stuff that all that stuff kind of got weeded out,
Right. I think people have kind of learned, matches are just very abusive on targets. You got to have the best of the best if you want to have success in the match. And, me personally, I use my AR 500 posts. I've had good luck with them both in my matches and other local matches and a couple PRS matches across the nation. So I didn't have any questions on what I was using there.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, we did have a whole bunch of prize table sponsors. I don't know if you want me to run through the whole list here, but
yeah, give her a whirl. Why not? Just let's do it quick, but yeah, let's do it. Let's give everybody a little bit of something here, a little bit of love.
All right. Like I said, we had Altus, Annealing Made Perfect, Applied Ballistics, Area 419, Bartline, Berger, Brooks, Bullet Central, Coltac, Defiance, DST Precision, Foundation, Forster, GA Precision, Gunslingers, Hawk Hill, Hawkins Precision, Hodgdon, Hornady, HS Precision, Kestrel, Lapua, Leofoto, Loophole, Lone Peak Arms, Mac Bros, Magpul, Manners, MDT, Muley Freak, Night Force, Newman Safaris, Peterson cartridge, Phalanx arms, Perry Tactical, precision reloading, proof research, Radix precision, RCBS, short action customs, short action precision, Shooter's World, Silencer Central, Swarovski, Thunderbeast arms, target hanging solutions, Trigger Tech, TS Customs, US Optics, Vortex Optics, Willow Creek Wildlife, XLR, Zeiss, Zermatt arms, Zero Compromise, and Zoom Bait.
Boom. I like the Zoom Bait, right? Ever since the Armageddon Gear
Yep.
stuff, like Zoom Bait got in, they're like, yeah, anything outdoors,
Yep. Yeah, and a lot of those sponsors are directly from the PRS. They send out a little packet where a lot of these companies are sporting every PRS match.
Right.
And that's huge. It's a big commitment. So big thanks to those guys.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I kind of wanted you to run through the whole thing, because it's not just this match, right? It's the sport as a whole,
Right.
and without them, none of this happens the way that it happens.
Right. And then I forgot to mention Thunder Beast. They came out on Friday. A couple guys from Thunder Beast came, Sam and I can't remember his buddy's name there. I think it was Austin.
Sam was the guy running the can that was in the white, right?
Yeah, he was running the side stage on Friday there.
I didn't make it on Friday, but he had the tactical roll on the tank traps or on the barrel stage.
Yep. Yeah, that would have been him. I heard about that. But yeah, he ran the side stage on Friday. Just volunteered to do that. All the money they collected went towards my ROs, so that was awesome. And then they gave away a bipod to the winner, so it's pretty awesome of them.
Yeah, that is cool. Yeah, just this whole sponsor thing, and then they do a lot of these guys, they sponsor the PRS as a whole, but you got to think about how many outlaw matches they are, right? When I say outlaw matches, I mean like Lonnie's match, right? That one's not affiliated, right?
Right.
But he's going to have a ton of sponsors. Same with, of course, the duel. Do they do in the duel anymore? Or the Tiger meet? That's another one. A lot of these, are outlaw matches, right? That aren't affiliated, and they're getting just as much love from these people because they're supporting the sport as a whole. And I think that's really important.
Right. Yeah, we have a lot of those matches in South Dakota that aren't, they're not affiliated with anything really. And I mean, a lot of people love going to them, and, I like shooting them too. So, yeah.
Dane's match out in Phillip. That's another one.
Yep. It's nice to see the company support those as well.
So what kind of stuff did you learn like going into this? I know you kind of hosted some 1 days or whatever, and because that was what we talked about last time. You wanted, I think Ken wanted you to get like a couple of 1 days under your belt for the PRS before the 2-day happened. What did you learn in this? I mean, everybody goes into it going, "Oh, I'm going to host a match." We've all shot matches before. We all know kind of how it goes. But like, what stands out as stuff that maybe caught you off guard, or that you appreciate more now?
I mean, luckily I didn't have a ton that caught me off guard. I mean, that was my big thing going into it, was I wanted to be planned for everything. I mean, you can't always plan for everything, but there's a couple stage designs that maybe would have liked to have done a little bit different. Probably that pickup stage. It was cool. It reminded me of, South Dakota hunting, and that's why I put it in there. But for a national 2-day match, I maybe would have changed a couple things up in it. Not drastically, but I'd say a couple stage design things would definitely be some things I would maybe would have learned from or like to have done a little bit different. With that, probably the tires that we shot off of, nobody cleaned it, which really surprised me. I didn't think I'd have any stage there that nobody cleaned. But that was one I maybe need Nick.
It was hard to see them little circles down there, man. That was the thing. It was hard to because there was, so for the listeners, there was like a tractor tire with like a rear tractor tire and then like a front tractor tire, like so a little smaller stacked up. And so you could shoot off the big one, and then it was like a little tower, right? And you'd move across or whatever. And then there's a little creek bottom that runs through, and then like a little washout that comes down through the hill there. And those two targets, the one down in the river and the one up in that crevice, were very, very difficult to see.
They were. And, the funny thing is, I pretty much ran that stage Those targets didn't really move from a 1-day match that I had. The only difference was it went from a prone stage to shooting them off the tires.
Mm-hmm.
And in the 1-day match, that was one of my easiest stages.
Mm-hmm.
So simply
Yeah.
just putting the tires there turned it into probably the hardest stage in the match. And I knew it would make a difference, but I figured with the level of competition there that we'd still have some people clean it. And it just didn't happen, I guess. So.
Happened. I think the smoke in the air made it really difficult to pick up that gray if the background was like
Right.
it really made everything fuzzy out there, and hard. It was really hard to pick up the shot out targets.
Right. Yep. That didn't help, but I mean, that's not something we could obviously plan for, but
No, I mean it is what it is.
yep. I do think that having I don't know, I painted all the targets black this time, and I kind of think that helped actually versus painting them white. I think white would have really washed out there, but black I thought popped pretty good, given the conditions.
That one on the triangle stage, on the Triangle of Tears,
Oh yeah,
that second triangle target was almost impossible to see.
it was impossible to see. Yeah, when I set that up and I went back to the firing line and looked at it, I was like, oh man, they're gonna hate me for this one, but we got to have at least one of those here.
Yeah, no backsplash, shooting into the trees,
Yep.
and then just a black target into the shadows. That was a hard. There was like 3 or 4 people in my squad that were like, I don't see it. And it was like, just shoot into the trees twice and move on.
When you're up on the ridge setting those targets up, it's like, oh, they're only 50 yards apart. I could just throw something and hit this other target. Can't be that hard. But yeah, it was hard to find in the trees.
Yeah. That was probably the only 2 that were real difficult to see. The little ones on the stage 1, and then it was like 7 or something with the triangles.
Yep. Yeah, and there's actually, I don't know if you saw it, but Michael Olson made a pretty sweet video with that triangle stage.
Oh, did he? I didn't see that yet, but I saw a lot of the pictures that he took.
Yeah,
Or no, not him. The who's the other guy?
Aaron Van Bixler.
Aaron Van Bixler. Yeah, I added him as a friend too.
Yep.
Facebook.
So that video is pretty sweet because Michael had his drone out there, like right next to the targets, pretty much while the guy was shooting the stage, and then had his camera on him shooting the stage and had him, in like frame in frame on the video, so you can see when he's hitting the targets and as he's moving positions and all that. It was pretty cool.
Oh, that is cool. Troy Tyson with DST. You know what DST stands for?
I'm not sure. No.
Daddy's shooting time. When he had a kid.
Oh, okay.
It was like his way to get to go shooting or whatever. It was Daddy's shooting time, and then it just turned into his company.
Right on.
Kind of funny. But he had a drone. I believe it was him. He had a drone that he was flying down, and somebody caught it with a bullet.
Oh shoot!
Shooting at the target, dropping, long bombs in, and took that drone right out of the sky.
Yeah, that might not make someone real happy if they're being pretty competitive.
Yeah. Oh yeah, right. That too.
But, yeah. I'm sure he's missing his drone, but I'm sure the other person's probably just as mad.
Yeah, right. You can fly drones in front of me anytime.
Right on.
Yeah, drone. I don't know whose it was. If it was his, it took off right next to me. Scared the hell out of me. I was standing there in the parking lot, and all of a sudden, like everything's kind of quiet, and then just and that thing comes flying up out of nowhere.
Yep. Yeah, I think there was actually 2 flying around. I had another guy. He sent me some footage that he got with his drone. It was actually the son-in-law of Bob, the owner out there. He sent me a little video he made. It was pretty cool too.
Oh, cool. Yeah, there was a gal taking pictures in our squad. I can't remember his name and his wife. I can't for the life of me. I was trying to look it up on Practice Score, but I couldn't. The squads are all gone now too, right? So,
yeah.
Because if I saw the name, I'd remember it, I think. But she took a bunch of pictures.
It wasn't Michael and Steph?
No, he was shooting with us.
Gotcha.
Orange jersey.
I don't remember what everyone was wearing.
Yeah. You don't? You don't remember?
No. I don't remember what I was wearing yesterday.
Yeah, he had an orange jersey on, and I was kind of looking for that. See, I've been friends with Michael for a long time on Facebook, but I've never met him in person.
Right.
I didn't recognize him. I would have went and said hi.
Yeah, he's a good dude. But yeah, I mean I think everything went pretty good. I'm sure as I sit back and think of things as time goes by, I'll probably think of more things more takeaways from the match, more things I've learned to do better next year. So yeah, right now I'm still kind of just trying to recover from the weekend, I guess.
Right. I think it's funny, like all the Eastern guys are like, there's not much positional here. And all the Western guys are like, why is there so much stuff we're shooting off of?
I got told that I need more positional stuff out there, and I was like, man, I don't know. All my local South Dakota guys tell me I have too much positional stuff out here, so it's like I got to find a happy medium somewhere.
Well, they were both complaining about it, so I think it worked out.
Yeah, and
Like,
it's like I don't know. I mean, we're just on the brink of being a Western state over here, I guess. So it's just kind of the style of shooting that everyone likes over here. And I'm pretty sure, if you go down to like Oklahoma and stuff, those guys kind of prefer that style of shooting too. Probably more prone versus positional.
sure. Yeah. So after the 1 day match, we had the so first I should have known it was going to be a terrible day of shooting for me right off the bat. I target number 1, I shot the wrong target, and I was on the prairie dogs on number 2, and I shot the number 2 prairie dog.
Oh,
And like the thing that got me was that I hit it. So like, dope's on. It's got to be the right target, right? I didn't hear anybody say impact or nothing, so I was like, well, that was weird. Nobody said nothing,
yeah. Well, they were both standing prairie dogs, I think. So you had a bit of vertical to mess with there.
Mm-hmm.
And they weren't super far apart, like 50, 75
Yeah,
yards.
yeah.
Yeah, that'll get you.
Yeah, that was my first stage of the day. I showed up pretty confident after shooting that 2 day or that 1 day match. I did pretty good. The rifle was shooting good. Everything was feeling pretty good. And then I showed up, I shot that, and I was like, wow, this is how the rest of this is going to go.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah. So anything else that stands out as a match director that you maybe appreciate more or
Definitely all the help that goes into it.
old Brett Barnes?
Yeah, I had a lot of help. Brett and Tim Weigel, they both really stand out as far as guys that helped me quite a bit. I had several other guys that helped me set up the match, weeks in advance. They'd come out and help with targets, like Aaron Rodgers and Josh Riddle. They're both ROs at the match too. So, and with that, all the ROs, you just can't. I mean, you cannot have a match go smoothly without some good ROs there. And I just appreciate all of them for being there and putting up with me and putting up with the weather out there. And I mean, it was pretty nice, but the smoke and the wind got a little bit much on Saturday, probably.
Aaron Rodgers was probably one of the first 100 people to like my podcast back in like 2012, 13.
Yeah, he's been doing this a while.
I didn't know who he was or nothing, but I remember that when it came through because Aaron Rodgers obviously was a Green Bay quarterback back then, right?
Yeah.
And I remember it coming through. I was like, no. And then I went and looked and I was like, oh, yeah, it's definitely not the quarterback. So,
yeah. Yeah. I mean, you just can't do it with all the help there. One person just can't do it. And, can't say thank you enough to those guys. Like I said, I hope they come back next year. I hope we can do a little bit more for them next year to help them out. We had a place for them to stay and was able to get them a little bit of money from the side stage and the sign in, shooting steel and stuff. So
yeah. Tim, he had his like brand new side by side carting people around. That was,
yeah,
that's pretty ballsy to get your brand new. That was a fancy side by side. That was no cheap, hand me down side by side. That was like a top of the line, super nice, fancy, limited edition deal. And he didn't even think twice about just carting people back and forth all day. I mean,
So about a month ago when I was setting up targets, he had just picked it up, and I think he had about 25 miles on it. And he's like, "I'll just bring that up, and we'll set up targets." And so we were throwing steel on the back of that thing, and I was like, "Man, I know we're gonna get this thing all scratched up." And
yeah, That's hard on running that steel in and out of the beds.
Yep. And then every time we had to get close to a target, he would just go piling in through the buckbrush or whatever was in the way. I was like, man, I'm glad you're driving because I would not be doing that.
Yeah, you'd be feeling pretty bad.
Yeah. But yeah, it just no questions asked. He's always asking. I never really ask him for help, and he's always offering it, and I can't thank him enough for that.
Yeah, that's awesome. Was that other side by side? Is that your dad's?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
with the lights, the little light bar, and the flags and stuff.
Yep.
I always sit there and talk to him for a little bit. He's a cool guy.
Yep. Yeah, and he was there all day running people back and forth. Didn't have quite as much room in his, but still running people back and forth.
His is only 2 seats, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It sounded like Bob, the owner of the property there, he was talking about already before we left there. He was talking about doing something to get like a trailer and maybe put in a little bit wider path to go back and forth. And maybe next year we can haul people back more at a time, so we don't have to make as many trips.
Oh, sure.
But
tractor with a hay wagon.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, why not? Get an old John Deere Oliver, something like that.
Yeah. I didn't think it was that bad. It was only like 500 yards from one end to the other.
It wasn't bad. I walked further than that at a lot of matches.
Right.
Most matches, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But I wasn't going to turn down the ride either.
Yeah, that was another thing. I never asked them to give people rides. They just started doing it and didn't stop all weekend, I guess. So
yeah, that was pretty sweet. Little shuttle. Well, it's like at the Barrel Maker in what was it, 2020? Were you there?
Was it 20? I think I was there in 21.
You got a gray shirt?
Yeah.
Yeah. The white shirts were 2020, so they had that bus that they were carting everybody back and forth. That was a long walk. They had a bus from like 1 to the last 10 or whatever stage it was.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was a little bit of an ordeal though, getting that bus around out there.
I bet. That was a fun match when I shot it.
Yeah, it was a fun match.
Prior to this match, I was asking Ken lots of questions on, do's and don'ts of the match, and he gave me a lot of input. I got a lot of input from several other match directors as well, like Michael Beamer and Ryan Moles. I asked them a lot. They helped me out quite a bit as well. Talked to Clay Blackadder.
Mm-hmm.
I like shooting his match. He runs a pretty tough match, sporty match, and kind of wanted his thoughts on it. So I got a lot of input from guys and tried to bring it all together and, put a match together I thought would be, high quality, fair match.
Yeah, I thought it was good. I thought the targets were too small and too hard to see, but
hey, if we would have had no wind, I mean, there could have been dang near been a clean, I think, maybe, but I don't know.
I don't know. No, I thought it was a very good match. I thought it was, even with my issues that I was having, I still could hit some of the close ones and so everybody can kind of have a chance to hit some stuff. You know what I mean? Like that's, yeah. I know I've said it 100 times, but you want it to be fun for the beginner and challenging for the expert, and it's a tough road.
Very, very tough balance because there is such a wide range of skill in the game. I mean, you got Jake Vibert, who's shot more matches than probably most of us combined. And, he dropped 28 points over the weekend. We had some pretty nasty wind Saturday, and then Sunday it was just kind of weird. It was definitely doing some weird stuff. The wind was to everybody. I heard complaining about that from everybody.
Well, I think it's so the way you're shooting, you can really see it from like stage 10 down by the rooftop and the what's the one before that?
Barricade down there.
Is that what it was? The cattle guard or the barricade thing or whatever?
Yeah.
When you were down there shooting, or that prone stage where you shoot the like troop line out, the diamonds or what was the stage called? Like they're the same width or something.
Yep.
You could really see the valley and how the wind was kind of rolling through the valley and kind of around the hills. And you could see in the trees kind of where it was doing some weird stuff because there's so many terrain features down in there that you can't see because of the trees and the brush.
Yep.
but when you got to that back side, you could kind of see some of that weirdness.
Well, and a lot of the rounds are going over a Y in the creek. So that wind, it's probably hitting a couple different winds on the way to the target. And that's just hard to read for anyone. But, that's what you're going to encounter hunting out in South Dakota, though.
Right. Yeah.
You're going to see that stuff. So,
like I said, the hard thing too was that smoke. I can't believe how much of a difference that made finding targets.
yep. Yeah, and everyone was asking me, like, how long has this been here? I'm like, well, as soon as you guys rolled in, pretty much.
Yeah.
It was clear weather right up until people started arriving. Then we had smoke.
Yep. Yeah.
But
yeah, it was unreal.
And then it went away when everyone left, pretty much.
Did it really?
Pretty much. Monday morning it was gone. So
that's funny. Of course it was. Of course
yeah.
it was.
Yeah. But
yeah, the award ceremony was good. Brisket for the award ceremony, and I think pulled pork for the lunches, and that was all really good. The award ceremony was good.
There's one big takeaway I need there, and I need to have an outline of the award ceremony because I kept, I was trying to run through it in my head or some notes I had jotted down, and felt like I was skipping over stuff and having to retrace my steps going through that stuff. But
I thought you did well. I do, especially for like kind of for your first big one like that or whatever. I thought you did really well. But an outline would kind of help speed it up a little bit, maybe.
Yeah. Yep. And that's something I'm going to work on. Probably send that over to Ken. I think he wants to give it to several match directors, maybe an outline for the awards thing. Just keep it consistent, between different matches.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, just kind of have it be the same deal. How many trophies were there? There was like 20 trophies.
15. That's every PRS match.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've been to a 2-day, but.
Yep. Yeah, you got all the categories, the divisions, the classes, and then top 5. I guess top 5 you can do top 3 or top 5. Usually you see top 5. So.
Did you make the trophies?
Yep. I've made a lot of trophies for guys. It's not really my preferred thing to do. I'd rather just sell targets, but I do make some trophies for some PRS guys, and it just made sense to make my own, I guess.
Yeah, why wouldn't you?
Right.
They double as a target when you.
No, not these. I wanted them to resemble the match logo as best I could. There's only so much you can do with that, but I think they turned out pretty cool.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah, I thought they were nice. Didn't leave with one, but I should have shot a gas gun because then I would have.
Yeah, as I say, bring a spare gun next time, just in case.
Yeah, I kind of looked at it as I wanted to rebarrel my rifle like last year, and I just haven't because I haven't been shooting enough to justify the cost of it, right?
Yeah.
But now after this match, because then the other thing too is during the one day it shot really well, shot good.
Yeah.
Everything I missed, I missed. You know what I mean? It wasn't like something weird going on, But then this weekend it was. After about stage 3, I almost didn't hit another target.
Really?
Yeah, I zeroed like 5 stages.
Were you having like elevation issues or?
Elevation and windage, yeah. It was like on like a 300-yard target, like on the they're the same width where it was the diamonds and the squares. To hit the squares, like the close ones, I was holding like a full mill low and left.
Oh wow.
And then I'd go shoot at the zero board because I called you that day.
Yep.
And I was shooting a vertical string that was like 1.5 mils.
Yeah, that doesn't do anybody any good.
So I checked everything, made sure everything was tight, made sure everything was, where it was supposed to be and how it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
And I don't know. First thing I do when I got home was I peeled the barrel off that rifle and I stuck it in the garden to be a tomato steak. So
I was going to say, when's the last time you cleaned it?
Oh, that barrel's old. it's old and it's time. It's time for
Yep.
a barrel. It was time for a barrel last year, 2 years ago.
Right on.
Actually, I've never really been all that happy with that barrel, to be honest, but it was a kind of a goofy deal how it worked out, and it's kind of a weird barrel, and
Gotcha.
yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, I'll definitely be back. Are you doing a fall match too? You're doing another match, aren't you, at one day?
Yep, we have about a month. We have another 1-day match. So that'll be the last one for the year, and then I'll be hopefully hunting some stuff.
Yeah.
Got a bunch of tags.
Did you? What'd you draw for?
Oh, I got a couple deer tags in South Dakota, a deer tag in North Dakota, and then I got a general elk tag in Montana that I'm gonna try pretty hard to fill. So
nice.
Yep.
I put in for one deer tag. I got it in South Dakota down in Gregory.
Right on. Yeah, I think that's where my West River tag is, Gregory.
Oh yeah.
Yep. I think so. I applied for so many, I don't remember.
Well, if you did, we'll have to go out and get dinner one night or something.
Yeah. Sounds good.
We'll be in touch. Man. So you run 3 matches?
Yep.
Is that the deal? Is that what you're going to keep doing, 3 matches?
I haven't decided next year. It's a lot. It's a lot to do. 3 matches in a year, and have a full-time job and trying to run the side business as well.
And then trying to shoot matches and go hunting.
Right. It's just gotten to be a lot this year.
And the kids.
Yep. Got to stay home a few times at least and try to keep the family happy. I really should spend more time with them, but I'm hoping to get them more involved with it. Maybe that'll work out that way, but I guess we'll have to see what next year brings.
My oldest is 5, and I think he probably could do it. I think he could come with and follow around. And so what I'd probably do is, you see them little red wagons, you see Dane pull this little wagon around,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What is it, a little, what were they, the radio flyers or whatever?
Yeah.
But I think if I did that, I could cart him around. He was pretty mad that I left without him because he came to the Lazy J ELR match with me and just had a blast. And when I was trying to explain why he couldn't come to this one, he was like, I went to the last one. And it's like, I'm a little different, bud,
Yep. Yep. Yeah. So
he claimed my target hanging solutions tumbler when I got home. He thought that was pretty cool. So that's his now.
Right on.
And I couldn't say no.
As long as it's getting used.
Yeah. Yeah. He thought that was pretty cool. That and the stickers. I grabbed a bunch of your stickers and he took 3 of them and put them on a bunch of stuff he shouldn't have.
Yeah, they're supposed to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. What are your thoughts on next year as far as my match? Do you have any thoughts on what I maybe should have done differently or improved on? Or
I did do the match survey.
Yeah, good deal.
I did. And I didn't really think there was anything that should have been done differently. I didn't feel like there was anything that was out of line or something that could have been done drastically better or anything. I mean, obviously there's going to be stages you like more than others, right? But that's
right.
That's not complaining. That's just preference there. I mean, but I don't really have any complaints about it at all.
I do want to get a little bit more diverse with the props that I have out there with the positional stuff. I don't know if I want to do more of it, but at least diversify it some. But that's the thing I want to do.
Something, maybe try and find something that's not just the tank trap and the cattle gate and
yeah. I think guys around here appreciate it, but I don't know. Like to make it a little bit different somehow.
Yeah, a couple that are a little bit weird that are something that's a little bit memorable for the match.
Yep.
I always like when they take the plywood deer, and they hang the steel target behind the deer.
Yeah.
I always like that, right? Where it's
Might be a little bit hard for the spotters, but just
yeah,
always seeing the report from hitting the plate, or if it was miss, can be kind of tough to see. But yeah, might have to look into something like that.
those were cool. But that's the thing too. Like I said, like you want to have target failures, you start getting weird stuff like that in there.
Yeah.
That's when you start having the problems.
Yep.
Um, but those are fun.
Yep.
I shot a Texas Star one time at like 500 and some yards. Did I tell you that?
Uh-uh.
That was kind of cool and very hard.
That'd be sweet, but pain to reset.
Well, that was the thing, right? We did it because we were there and it was there and it was cool or whatever, but you couldn't do that in a match.
Yep. Yeah. I don't know. Another thing we talked about was we talked about with Ken is seeing if we could run 20 stages consecutively. I'm kind of torn on doing that. I guess it would get pretty crowded, I think, um, just with the length of our shooting line. But we could definitely run more people through there. I don't know.
Oh, having all 20 stages be separate stages,
Yep. And then you run them all at the same time, and
run
you
half
know,
one day and half the next day.
yeah, you'd probably do like 12 stages one day and 8 the next, or however it worked out. Thing is, you're down to pretty much 1 RO per stage in that situation, and then
And
you're having shooter spot, which is fine. They do that a lot of matches, but
yeah, the other thing is then you got, everybody's missing 2 different stages on a different day.
yeah. Well, yeah, everyone's shooting different stages than a different squad, and
You got like the long stage and the wind kicks up for day 2, and 2 squads didn't have to shoot that long one on in the wind, and I
yeah.
could see that causing trouble, people being mad about it. You know what I mean?
Yep, and that happens at some matches. I mean, match directors are pretty good about making sure they spread those stages out, kind of evenly, so that no matter where you start, you're going to hit 1 or 2 of them. In our location, I'll have to look pretty hard at if that's even a possibility, because there's really a couple spots where you can shoot long. Um, but I mean, we can get creative. We'll see.
Yeah. I wonder if you could do, you know, I don't want to say run through it twice, but if you could like have everybody shoot both stages from the same spot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean,
Be a little weird.
yeah, like something like that could probably be done.
You know what I'm
You,
saying? Like you get to stage 1 and it'd be stage 1 and 2, and you'd stay there and you'd shoot stage 1, then you'd shoot stage 2.
yeah, it'd
And then
kind of be like
you'd move.
what I had 1 and 11, so you'd shoot 1 and 11, and then go do 2 and 12 and 3 and 13.
Right.
Yeah, you could probably do something like that. I don't know. I'd have to see if I can make it as fair as possible.
The hard part about that though is like, I guess I wasn't thinking about it, but you'd have to, if you have 20 stages, you've got everybody shooting the same time. This would be just no different than shooting, I guess, 10 stages if you did it that way, right? You'd still have to the same amount of time and the same amount of
Yeah.
terrible idea. Sorry I brought it up.
The benefit of it is you can run through 12 stages on day 1 and then get done sooner on day 2 and get everybody going on the road earlier. I mean, that's a big benefit.
Yeah, I like that. I like to be on the road a little earlier if I can help it.
I probably wouldn't do that unless we had, more than 120 shooters, because then it just becomes an efficiency deal. And
And we were still done at like 2.
yeah, I didn't look at my watch. I thought it was like 2:33 on Sunday, but maybe it was before that. I think some squads were done before that.
We were done. I think we were done a little earlier than a lot of people, but I think overall, most people were done probably 2:33. I would say at the latest.
Yeah,
From
and
what
I was more than happy with that for 12-person squads. Going through 10 stages on Sunday, I was happy we were on time.
Yeah, it went well both days even.
Yep. Yeah.
Um, what are some things that you're going to change for the next one?
Um,
What are some things that were going on that you were like, this is going to be different next time? Is there anything?
like I said, maybe just a couple of those stage designs. I mean, obviously, I'll have all new stages and probably new target locations next year. Um, I would ideally be able to change up, kind of the whole course of fire to make it a whole different look next year. Something I kind of enjoy doing is walking along the firing line and finding lanes through the trees and the creek bottom where you can put targets. One of the big challenges there was trying to hide all the targets from other stages, because I don't like when you look out there and it's just a sea of targets, especially for new shooters. It becomes
Mhm.
very difficult. Um, it might have looked like that to some of them, but I bet there was 100 targets out there, and you couldn't see, a third of them at any time, because I would tuck them in a little crevice in a hill to hide them from a stage that was shooting in the same direction, or I'd walk along until a tree in the creek bottom was blocking it from a certain stage that might get confused with.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of
Then
that.
also, like, the other thing is, like, if you get to a stage, it might be like antelope and deer targets. And the
Yep,
next stage is circles. And the next stage is squares. And the next stage is silhouettes. And the next stage is, you know,
yep. And then,
prairie dogs and coyotes. And the next stage is, turkeys, so and pheasants
yep,
or whatever, right? So it was nice you could it's not like you were shooting at stuff and it was like, well, a square and am I shooting for a square? Am I looking for a diamond? Am I looking for, it's like,
right. And yeah, there was a lot of thought that went into that. I tried to go like basically an animal stage, animal targets every other stage, and then I'd go circle, and then the next one after the next animal would be a square, and then after that it might be a triangle, then a diamond or an IPSC, just to spread all the similar targets out from each other as far as possible, just to not have that confusion. Um, so I'll probably keep that method going next year, and like I said, I'll change up some stages. Um, Another thing, like I said, is trying to maybe move people from stage 10 to stage 1 a little bit faster with the trailer deal if that works out. Um, and like I mentioned, the barricade deals, probably do something different there. Make a few things or haul in a few other deals. I wouldn't mind having a what's ahead.
hay bales.
Yeah, those aren't very sturdy, but I wanted a big rock stage, but I don't know where I'm supposed to find some rocks. There weren't any just laying out there, so I might have to go looking for a few of those.
Some big boulders. And they're not easy to move either.
No, so but I got all winter to look into that stuff as long as it's not all buried under the snow.
It will be. It's
Yeah, yep.
been
And
dry, kind of
then
dry this summer, so we're gonna get it all this winter.
yeah, and then like I said, I'd like to do maybe a little bit more for the ROs if I can. Might get creative on Friday with the sign-in deal. I don't like. I don't really like when you go to a match and you got to pay 40 or $50 just to check your rifle on steel. Um, I did $20 to help out with ROs. I figured $20 is pretty easy for most guys. If they want to check dope on steel, they could still use our zero board for free. Um, I don't know if I'm going to do that or something different next year. I know some guys don't like, having to pay it all to do that, and I get the argument. It's There's just a lot of different ideas and ways of going about that. I'm going to rethink that a little bit and just see what I can come up with.
Yeah, I don't think that's a bad idea at all to have to pay a little something. I mean, if you were gonna go to the local rifle range, you'd have to pay to use that.
Right.
And
Yeah.
then and like if you were racing, you wouldn't get to pre-race the day before.
Right. And that's why I thought at $20, I was like, that's not really out of line for anybody that's shooting this game. They should have $20 in their pocket. But
Yeah,
um, I think most guys utilize that. We probably had 80 guys do that on Friday, which I thought was pretty good numbers for that.
nice. I would have, but I didn't get there till a little bit late.
Yeah.
had to work.
Yep. But
Cool, man. Man, is there anything else you want to get out there or mention or people you want to thank or?
I mean, big thanks obviously to my wife and my dad also for being there the whole weekend and helping out. They kind of helped me stay sane throughout the weekend. When everybody left to go to their hotels or whatever, they're still there helping out. And my wife was charging iPads and everything Saturday night after day one. She kept all that stuff in check and made a bunch of runs to go get ice and water for everybody. So can't thank them enough. And I really hope everybody that was there wants to come back next year. I hope we get some more shooters that are interested. Maybe fill it up a little bit sooner next year. That's kind of my hopes.
Yeah, I mean, it filled up though.
Yep.
Correct. Yeah, I mean.
I didn't want to take one person over 120 because I didn't know how smooth things were going to go. Luckily, they did go very smooth, so happy with that.
Yeah, in the award ceremony at the community center there, that was a pretty easy deal.
Right.
Not hard to get to. Plenty of seating, plenty of everything.
Yep, just right in town there, and
no cell service, but
oh well. But yeah, that was a good place to have it. So we'll probably do it there again next year, I would imagine.
It's gonna start texting you pretty quick and be like, "Got any of them scores?" Because we couldn't get to practice score,
Oh yeah, I had them. I was out there. I had them all loaded up to practice score before I even left the range. So I figured everyone had already seen them. Maybe everyone stepped outside. I don't know.
They did. Yeah, they did. They ended up going outside and getting it to work, but
gotcha.
Yeah, it wasn't a big deal, but it was just
kind
of funny. No, it was good to see the turnout. The amount of people and the distance traveled and stuff. A lot of people came and from a ways away. It was good to see a lot of people I haven't shot with. Rowdy, I haven't shot with him since probably 17 or 18.
Yeah.
Squatted up with Theory and Shane and all those guys. That was fun. I don't generally get squatted in a squad where I know a bunch of people. I usually just try to find a bunch of people who don't, new people or whatever. So,
it
was fun to squat up with a bunch of people that I knew.
Yep.
Me and Theory are going to do a show and we're going to tear your match all apart. So
great.
I'm all friendly now, but you listen to that show, you might cry.
I'm not real worried about it.
No, I'm just kidding. We're just going to kind of go over, like I know I'm beating this to death, but this is the first 2-day match I've shot in quite a while. Right. And, everybody's making fun of me for having a sling and, looking like I was going hunting and, I'm like, oh, I kind of am, there's just a bunch of steel out there, but, there's, obviously it doesn't change all that much in a couple of years, but there was some differences, that we're kind of going to go over and just kind of talk about that and stuff we're maybe going to do better for next time. And
but yeah, I mean, we haven't had a 2-day PRS match here for, I don't know, it's probably been 5-6 years, I suppose now.
When did Michael Kane quit running his?
Well, that would have been,
because I think that one was PRS at first and then it went NRL.
Right. So since it's been PRS, it's been quite a while. I want to say it was like 2020 or something like that was the last year. Maybe it was 19 even.
I'll bet you it was 19 was the last year of that match at all, and I'll bet you it was 16 that it was, since it was PRS, 16 or 17.
Yeah, I think it might have been 17. But yeah, so it's been 6 years since we really had a PRS match within, I don't know, 10 hours of here. We're kind of in a black hole up here for big nationally run matches, and last year, getting the 1-day series going and everything, it was kind of all just leading up to getting the 2-day matches, and now there's several other people within one state from here that have been asking about getting a PRS match. So I hope they get it going. I think it'd be good for us up here.
Yeah, and there's a lot of like we talked about earlier, there's so many of the outlaw matches, if a lot of those could get affiliated for the 1-day deals, that would be pretty sweet.
Yep. Yep, definitely.
Help with the points for local guys.
Yep.
You gonna shoot Lonnie's?
I'm not sure. I think it's gonna be, when is that one again? It's in August.
September
September
6th, I think, or
I
September.
think I told him he's got to quit having them in September because I'm already archery hunting at that point.
Yeah, I know.
And with that general elk tag this year, I know September I'll be gone quite a bit. So I'm not sure I'll be able to make it. I always love shooting them though. It just hasn't worked out last couple of years.
Did you see he started his new deal? He's doing custom ammunition.
Yep.
I just saw that. I was talking to him a little bit over the weekend.
Yeah.
So he's going to come on. We're going to talk about that too.
Right on. Yeah, I hope that goes good for him.
I think it will. He's got the background, you know.
Yep, definitely.
So what else, man? What else? I think that's about all I got.
Yeah, I don't think I really have much else.
Awesome. Well, we'll call it a show then. So with that, everybody, I appreciate you listening. I appreciate you downloading the shows. I appreciate you liking the Facebook, going to the wherever you're listening to the show and giving us a rating. That helps us big time. I appreciate all the comments, questions, and concerns, anything like that. If you have any of those, it's kirk@precisionriflemedia.com. That'll shoot me an email if you want to be a guest or you have somebody that you'd like to be a guest. It's the same email, or you can get a hold of Elise, ELYSE, @precisionriflemedia.com. That'll probably get you results faster. The Facebook, the Instagram, trying to be a little more active on those. So check those out. Give them a like. Otherwise, everybody get out, try to get to the range. And I'll talk to you next week. Thanks a lot, guys. Bye-bye.